Hi guys, this is Saurabh from University Living. While others are logging in, I'm just taking this opportunity to introduce my esteemed panelist, and uh, yeah, I can see participant joining, so that's great. And so we have Jaspreet, from Queens Mary. She's a regional advisor, South Asia, representing India, as a regional advisor. Then we have Miss Gariema Sharma from Westminster, University of Westminster. Then we have Miss Shivani Bhala from Brunel University, and we have John Wales from Urbanest, and we have Anu. Hi Anu, she is representing HSBC Bank, and then I have a colleague Aman who is will be helping me making this event successful. And we are waiting a couple of other panelists who just joining, and here he is, Mr. Dr. Debanjan Chakrabarty from British Council. Hi Debanjan. Hi Dr. Debanjan, how are you?
I'm good. I have a little bit of a technical problem at my end. I really need to join you from my laptop, which suddenly has gone in for a restart. Trust them. So give me a couple of minutes. I'll log off. I just wanted to let everyone know that I am with you, but give me a few minutes to sort out the technology. Yeah.
Sure.
So in literally a couple of minutes. Yeah.
Right. Hi everyone. Probably while we are settling down, right, and in the era of lots of virtual pandemic and the real one, right? Let's probably just please, you want to start, you want to just introduce yourself, or probably just want to warm up, and then probably Garima, Shivani, John can have a line, and then we can start with a structured flow webinar.
Great. Thank you so much, Saurabh, for having us. Well, hi everyone. This is Jaspreet. I work for Queen Mary University of London. And as the name suggests, it's part of University of London and also based in London area. The background of my picture, I've actually put it as one of the major things to show that it is a campus life, and this is the kind of center of the campus that is there on my background. And London is the student destination, proven fact from year on year by the different rankings and also by the different rating systems. And I hope we continue to have that that discussion about how the London dreams could come true for most of you in the coming times. Thank you, Saurabh.
Thanks, Jaspreet. That is crisp. Garima, you want to add something?
Hi, everyone. This is Gariema Sharma from University of Westminster. So Westminster is a centrally located university in London. I'm sure the ones who are applying for Westminster today would know our location, and we're going to talk about other aspects of living in London, studying in London today. Westminster got a South Asia office where I'm based in Delhi with my other team members. So today we are here to help you with your questions and to help you settle down your anxious thoughts about starting the September intake. We will, as a team, will try and help you and resolve all your issues and concern regarding this upcoming intake. So thank you so much for having us, Saurabh.
Great. And while Garima just talked about Westminster and about herself, we have Saransh. Saransh is a alumni from LSC. So probably we got back to you, Saransh. We are just introducing each other. So
sorry, no problems. Just joined a little late.
I guess it started for me, so I take the onus. But we'll make it really successful and value addition for each and everyone who's joining. So yeah, Shivani.
Thanks, Saurabh. Like I said, I think it seems like a yearly affair with you guys, but one thing I definitely feel is that university living is kind of providing your next home. So I think you guys are doing a great job by giving home to someone in a new country. To introduce myself, I'm Shivani. I am the head South Asia for Brunel University, London. I also had the wonderful opportunity to study, live, and work in London. And I mean, it doesn't beat my heart any faster that London is the best city in the world. And I don't think we can compete with that. I mean, not just for students, but for traveling, for shopping, for eating. I mean, you name it, guys. I mean, you can't get better. So I think this is going to be a great, exciting session. I hope, Saurabh, you haven't invited any non-London universities because they're going to hate us. So let's look forward to a great session. And it's a pleasure to be with such esteemed panelists today. And let's get on with it. Thanks, Saurabh.
Thanks, Shivani. And when we talk about London, it's always love. There's no hatred in London. Yeah, John, you want to, you want to warm up? Want to just have a line to start with?
Thank you so much, Saurabh, and thank you to everybody else that's joining us today. We really appreciate it at Urbanest to be part of this wonderful event. So I'm actually tuning in live from London and from one of our student accommodation rooms at Urbanest Tower Bridge. So I'm connected here on the super fast Wi-Fi in a very comfortable position, and I'm very much looking forward to talking to you about your student accommodation options for the next academic year.
Trust me, John, we are absolutely not envy you. Absolutely not. We are very happy at our home.
I stayed at Urbanest myself. So I'm totally...
You stayed at Urbanest Westminster?
King's Cross.
King's Cross, that's my favorite one.
That's my favorite as well.
Great.
Yeah,
good to see Dr. Debanjan, and good to see how quickly you rebooted your technical glitch.
Hello, colleague.
Love to hear from you.
It's a real pleasure joining you. And I thought I heard Shivani, you extol the virtues of living in London, and I'm also very fortunate to have studied in the UK, not lived in London per se, but almost a suburb of London at Reading, which is just 26 minutes away from London. But one of the great advantages of that was that I could live in non-London prices, but have all the joys of London virtually at my doorstep. And I spent an enormous amount of time in London in my 4 years in the UK, and of course, I am usually in London once a quarter. And the last time I was on an aircraft in January 2020 was coming back from London after the Education World Fair, Education World Forum with ministers from India. So I really, really envy John that you are in London. I mean, it's opened up. I'm based out of Calcutta, which is really in pretty much hard lockdown, and we are going through some really difficult times. But thank you, Universal Living, for organizing this webinar. I'm really looking forward to sharing my thoughts and British Council's thoughts about studying in London. And London is a city of dreams.
London is where the heart is. Anu, you want to talk about HSBC and your experience with people in London, or probably HSBC is a UK bank, and London is the headquarters for HSBC. So Anu, you want to add something here?
Sure. Hi guys, my name is Anu Mandral and I'm working with HSBC India since 2018. And of course, HSBC, when it comes to UK, it's a SBI bank for UK, and it doesn't require any kind of introduction. But yes, giving you a broader picture, we help students for opening their account before they land in UK. So this is our USP of HSBC. We have recently closed a scholarship program also for the students who are applying to overseas. Doesn't matter which country they are applying. So we got a good applications for that also, and the each scholarship was for $10,000 USD, and we will be announcing 3 winners soon, maybe by mid of June. So yeah, that's from our side. Thank you.
Anu, it will be great if we get to know first and we spread the news to the people. We like to be center.
Sure.
Sarans, I mean, I guess you are the youngest and the, I mean, when I say young, not in age, probably in experience. So, and you were probably you have spent most time in London, apart from all of us as a student, so be candid. Yeah.
But hi guys, I'm Saransh Tikku. I am a LSE alum. I'm the vice chair for the LSE Alumni Association of Western India. Professionally, I have a family business. We manufacture medical oxygen, industrial gases, oxygen cylinders, liquid cryogenic tanks. So these days it's busy, to say the least. So yeah, I used to work. I studied in London. I worked there for a bit. I worked there for a year or so after I graduated, and then I returned back to India, not to join the family business. I actually joined Tata Motors to do finance for them for a bit, and only recently I joined my business.
I mean, I guess I'm sure, it was tough times for you, but, the kind of,
Yeah.
yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Actually, I've got a lot of experience with because I used to work. So while I was in central London, the LSE is bang in the center of London, and so I had a full central London experience. And then my company was a defense contractor. They manufacture things for the Ministry of Defense. So they were based out in the middle of nowhere. Places like, I don't know if John would even know they exist. Places like Prince's, Risborough, High Wycombe, places that will take you 2-3 hours, and there's no reason for any sane individual to actually travel to these places. These are places that shut down at 3 p.m. and then everybody goes to bed at 6. So the most, except for me, the next most foreign person was somebody from Scotland. So that's how English the place was. And I have a lot of experience in these rural areas because a lot of the factories, a lot of these places were based out of there. So I have
Right.
had the opportunity to see central London as well as rural England.
So this is exactly what happened. When we have a panel and we talk about London, we have so much to share. I really find tough to when to cut, and because these are amazing stories, right? And I tell everyone, when you go to UK, when you go to London, academics are very important, but it make you a good storyteller. And in this scenario, you need to be a good storyteller wherever you are. So let's make it more structured, and let's I guess we have warmed up really well. And if I mean, I find it a bit, we can skip this, but then people who had not been to London, or probably they're really aspiring London, let me make them more, I mean, let it make it more, I believe there's parents in the panelists, or probably in the, in the audience. So for all the, parents and probably people who have not researched London, which I doubt. So London is home to around 40 prestigious institutions, right? I mean, and out of that, 15 of world top ranked institution is in London, right? So London is, like London is the hotbed of excellence with top quality education, right? And with rapid globalization, London has witnessed topmost choice of international students, right? And we have best of the universities around here. Um, so I'll go to Jaspreet, or probably I'll go to Dr. Debanjan, and let me, let understand the sentiments of, of the institutes, of the universities, or probably all the policy maker, and then we percolate to universities and probably alumni and, and accommodation partner. So over to you, Dr. Chakrabarty.
Hello, everyone. It's a great pleasure to join this conversation and talk to a whole range of alumni, universities, as well as students aspiring to go to London. Let me kick off with a little bit of a personal kind of reminiscence, as well as why I think London is the city of dreams. I think it was Boswell who said that, if you are tired of London, you're tired of life. And I think that is what London represents to me in my professional life today. But I also distinctly remember when I first sort of landed in Heathrow in September 2001 as a research student headed for Reading. It was just such a stunningly exciting experience. Shortly after that, I mean, we went straight to our university from there, which is just outside of London. But my first view of London was during Christmas, and it reminded me, I'm notionally based out of Kolkata or Calcutta. And London, central London, resembles so much of central Calcutta because Calcutta was a city that was built in the image of London. So the sense of deja vu that many of us would get, especially coming from cities like Mumbai, Chennai, Calcutta, Delhi, which have such remarkable architecture. I think that is an immediate connect. I think during my time in the UK, I spent a lot of time in London, primarily for research, or ostensibly for research at British Library and other institutions, but also having loads of fun. I mean, I was deeply interested in culture, so I watched a lot of theater there. I watched films there. The food in London is just out of this world. Probably one of the, as a foodie myself, I mean, it was the place to be in. The pubs of London are just outstanding. I discovered my love for India Pale Ale. Ironically, it wasn't available in India back then. It's available now. But IPA was, is that IPA, John, that you're swigging? No, it's coffee. How sad. But I think there was football. I was very lucky to have watched one live Premier League match at West Ham. I am a massive cricket and tennis fan, so I watched 3 matches at Lord's, India playing England. The test match that I watched, India lost, but I was there at the remarkable NatWest Trophy final in 2002, watching it live. And Wimbledon, in my first year, in my first full year in the UK, I just, on a whim, I landed up in Wimbledon in the first week, queued up for 8 hours overnight and got in and had the time of my life, enjoying a great day of tennis. And I think those of us who travel to the UK, particularly London, have all these excitements, from theater to sports to food. I mean, some of the greatest Indian restaurants are now in London. I mean, Dishum, I would really recommend to you, Darjeeling Express. There's so many of them, and of course, world food. So I think London has so much to offer to international students. I think Londoners may not like it for it. I even love commuting in London. The peak hours in London, traveling in the tube, I really love it all. And that experience of a great city, the kind of excitement and energy that London gives you is just unparalleled. I think among Indian cities, you could probably experience a little bit of in Mumbai or in Delhi, but I think other cities would really struggle to compete with that sheer nervous energy and excitement of London as a destination. So I'm really excited. I wish I was a student again, heading to London in September.
Dr. Debanjan, the way you are updated, it seems you are a student for life, so, you are a student. So I open it for universities, and, and I also, open up with the, current sentiments, right? And, there were a couple of really good news coming in from UK, right? In fact, one thing I really congratulate UK government and each and every university, everyone in London, that the way they managed the pandemic, right? I believe, if I'm not wrong, around 80% of people have got vaccinated, right? Last when I read, it was 52, and it was not long back. It was just probably 4 weeks back, right? So the way they are getting vaccinated, the way they have managed the pandemic, and I guess I should not be saying this, but I guess, as per me, the only place which is safe is UK and it's London, right? At least at this point in time, right? And trust me, I'm not, I love India, but the way the government, the way the universities have managed the situation is commendable. So Jaspreet, I guess from 17th of May, there were physical classes started, right? So would love to, and I know how close you are, you keep communicating with your peers out there. So what kind of feedback you are getting, what is that initial reaction you are getting from the students which have gone to Coins in back now, from the last year. So yeah.
Thanks, Saurabh. So yeah, I think it's a very good plan from the government to kind of open that thing, students' places in phased manner, I would say. So we had in April, we had all the technical students who started. So it was experience for them to get onto the lab, and those kind of things, and work around with machinery and stuff. And now from 17th of May, the universities have been given a green signal to open up and get the students on campus. However, there is still constraints in the sense that we cannot just suddenly have 300 students in one room. Everybody has to maintain a social distancing factor for it. But the best part is the students have library access, which was available online, but now they can physically go and sit and touch the books. I think that's a very important feel. If you are a reader, to have that feel of a book as well. That is there. The students have cafeterias. They can engage. There are small tutorials and seminars happening where they have been able to interact with the supervisors. Some of them who had not traveled earlier at least have that exposure now and have been able to move around, experience the world, meet more colleagues, because many a times when you're doing these Zoom webinars or Zoom calls, 90% of the people don't switch on their video. So you don't know who, like we don't know who our next neighbor is right now in these circumstances. We don't know who our next student is or my next colleague is. So that has changed. So you learn, and that's what it's all about, right? So you're learning new things. As very rightly Dr. Debanjan mentioned earlier, London is a dream destination, and you do want to explore. I think I have been traveling for maybe not as long as Dr. Debanjan, but for good 10 years now, and every year there is still something or the other that I want to go forward and find out. And I'm sure, okay, then, oh God, okay, I heard this. I don't know about this. Let me go next time when I'm there to go and figure that out where it is. Food, eating, seeing places. I never get tired of London Bridge ever. I can sit near the things for like million hours. Only I wish I had that and still enjoy it. So, that exposure and that thing now students can experience, which was unfortunately missing earlier. So that's how it is.
And thanks, Jaspreet. Shivani, you want to add to it?
Yeah, I do. I was going to say I've lived here for 11 years and I'm still discovering new places to explore every day. And I really can't echo your sentiments enough. And when you come back over to the UK, we'll need to show you around our buildings and go for some nice food.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the sentiment seems really strong. I must echo exactly what you've both said. Despite the COVID situation globally, Saurabh, I think you said 80% of people in London have been vaccinated. I think that's correct. I certainly know with my peer group, everybody has had at least one vaccine. We have been out a lot recently. My bank balance has really suffered, but I've had a great time since May 17th. In terms of business, we're seeing it really pick up. The confidence in London's really picking up from around the world. Some of our properties, Westminster Bridge is beginning to fill up. It's approaching 100% occupancy, which we haven't seen since this time in 2019. Obviously, this time last year, the world was shutting down, but 2 years ago, which is what we're using as our measure, we're tracking against that really well, which is very encouraging to see.
Right.
We're also hearing from our university partners and esteemed partnerships globally, like yourselves at University Living, that the demand is really starting to pick up. And anecdotally, what we're hearing from the students pretty much echoes what I've said and what Jaspreet says. They can't wait to get back to the classroom. They can't wait to get back and meet people and socialize and enjoy everything that London has to offer. I certainly know that if I was a student again, I'd be jumping at it with both feet.
Right. Shivani, you want to add, what are your feedback, initial reaction you are getting from your students who is studying Brunel and now, and I know we've been, off lately, we were discussing that how students, it gives me, at times it feels that it's too good to be real. People going to, Qatar, to London, it feels unreal. And in fact, at times I myself question myself, how can someone can be so keen to go to London, and taking all the way out to just make it there. So yeah, Shivani.
Thanks, Saurabh. I think one thing is there, and I think we'll all probably agree to this, is London is infectious, right? So whether it is the culture, whether it's, and I think also it's the ease of connectivity to India. I think that's one reason very strongly why it's so accessible. And then post London, I mean, I know we're talking about London, but there are a lot of students who also go to universities outside of London. It's still so accessible. 2 hours, 3 hours of a train ride, I mean, that's nothing. Imagine that same kid having to go to the United States. First you sit in a 16-hour flight, then you further take another flight which would be at least 4 to 5 hours, and God bless you if you're going to the West Coast. So if you look at it, it's so accessible, and when I always kind of think of this, when I was applying to study in the UK, or rather when I was thinking of my master's, I think I was fairly clear from the day one that I want to go to London. I didn't even say United Kingdom. And it was just for my mom and dad to kind of come to terms with the fact that she's going to go away, and obviously she's going to have a blast, and we're not going to be able to watch over her and see what she's doing and when she's coming back home. But apart from that, they were all in because they felt London was safe. I mean, I'm not going to say that it's the safest city in the world. There's no city in this world that's the safest, but it's still very, very friendly, and it is home. You can find a home there so easily. And as an international student, that's the only thing apart from your education that you sentimentally and to settle in, you want to feel and feel comfortable. I've rarely seen, this is not about Brunel, but in general, I've rarely seen any student to kind of say that they're homesick. And anyone who says that to me, I was like, have a chat with me for an hour and you'll forget everything about home. This is home. So obviously it's different experiences. As far as kind of going back to your question, I think I have to admit the fact that Indian students are brilliant. I mean, I feel like clapping for all of them, whoever went to whichever university in the UK, because they transitioned to this, like you're rightly saying, so beautifully. I don't think whether it's Queen Mary or Westminster or Brunel, none of us saw any dropouts. We rather saw fantastic increase in numbers. That truly goes to show that we had brilliant quality coming in, and that kind of echoes and completes everything in a nutshell, Students, I think, as far as like what Jaspreet said, everything was made available online to them within weeks. I think lockdown in India happened 24th and the UK happened around 26th or 25th. So it was pretty much around the same time. And I remember from end of April, students started with their exams post Easter break. So there was just no time. There were obviously these one-off complaints. We don't want to study online. We feel very unsafe, blah, 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 which all of us felt that as well, right? I mean, I felt unsafe. I got COVID. It took me time to recover from it, but it is a deadly disease. But I think universities, accommodation partners, like let's say Urbanest, others around, even universities like us who also have on-campus accommodation, we were there for our students, with a drop of a phone call. So I think that kind of goes to show that it helped them settle in because we were there to help them, support them. I remember initially taking calls even at 2, 3 a.m. in the morning. And going back to, I believe you me, I went when Dr. Chakrabarty said that his last flight, my last international flight, yes, was Dubai. That's how I got COVID. But no, prior to that, it was London. And I still don't believe that it's been more than a year and a half that I haven't gone to that city. It just kind of feels weird. It's like I just went there yesterday. And I can't wait to sit on a plane to land into Heathrow Terminal 5 because I usually fly British Airways or Terminal 3, wherever they want us to land at. I just cannot wait for that day. I know hopefully it's going to come soon. And yeah, I think it's just London's infectious, guys. I mean, you can't get better. I mean, and I think I'm sorry, sort of, you've chosen the wrong topic today because I don't think you'll be able to stop any one of us from talking. So a 1.5 hour, 5 hours, 6 hours is going to be too little. So I'm going to shut up now.
I'll try to, thanks for, helping me with that. And I'll try to be more grateful. And I'll try that. I'm taking this as an invitation that I can, mute you guys when I need to. Gariema.
I think I absolutely echo with Shivani. I think London is infectious. It is a city which kind of grows in you. I think it's one of the most cosmopolitan city, people from all over the world. I think everyone is just trying to find a home there. It kind of eventually grows in you and you are all able to find your place there. So be it students at university or we traveling there, or we having our colleagues there who were really, really helpful and make us so comfortable with everything. So I think student particularly, I think for reasons, London has been crowned as world's best city for students, rich cultural heritage, museum, theater, everything is just available. And above that, I think the people are so warm and welcoming. With no language barrier. So I think you're so comfortable with the place as a student or as a tourist. I remember one of the instances when I was traveling with my friends with a big luggage, on one of the tube station, which has no escalator, there were people trying to help me out with my big luggage as big as mine, as big as me. So I think it was so great to see people coming over and helping you out. You're lost with directions, don't worry, someone will come and help you out. Similarly, as a student at the university, there'll be academics available all the time. I absolutely agree with everyone. I think it was a very smooth transition from on-campus teaching to online teaching overnight. And as an institution, or I say as a collective institutions, we tried our level best to make sure that we give the best student experience. Of course, that international experience, somewhere when students sitting here was cribbing about it, and we totally understand that. But as soon as they reached their campus and they started their classes, or they were there and doing their online classes, they were still sharing very, very positive feedbacks on the social media channels, which was pretty encouraging. Which gives us a lot of hope, and also the academics were thoroughly available for them. So yeah, it was a smooth journey for them. But of course, now the restrictions are getting uplifted, and for September intake, we are hoping to return to on-campus teaching as much as possible. Of course, there'll be guidelines from government which we need to follow, which we were following before and we're going to be following now as well. Of course, we can't do a lot of big lecture theaters like we used to do it pre-COVID times, like, everyone together, 100 plus. No, that's not going to be happening anytime soon. But of course, small group teaching, tutorial teaching will be back on campus as soon as possible. So the students will have the free access to library, and we don't want to, keep them away from that access, like be it, be it libraries or research or, access to their labs. So yeah, and we're trying to, keep it very, very easy for the students and a flexible entry for September intake students. So yeah, as universities, we'll try a bit possible to make sure that we're going to give the best, experience to our upcoming students. And for students, don't worry, you will thoroughly enjoy London. We bet you that.
I'm sure. I mean, in London, you have everything, you have something for everything and everything for someone. So great. I'll open to, I'll take it to John, right? Because he's the one who is there. He didn't need to sit on a plane. He's already there, right? So John, how is the, how's the experience? I mean, there are so many international students, including Indian students, who are staying in your buildings at urbanest across London, right? And they have started going to universities. They have started going out, on a weekends, right? Shopping is out, and sun is out, most importantly. So, how, I mean, why don't you share the hands down experience out there right away?
Sure thing. And recently, since things have reopened, we've seen a staged return to the buildings from international students from everywhere you can imagine, really. And once they're in and they've been through their 2-week isolation quarantine, which Urbanest do support with through food deliveries, parcel deliveries up to rooms, and welfare checks. A member of the team will call the students whilst they're living in isolation or quarantine in the rooms to check that their mental health is okay and to double check that they need something, whether it be some milk from the supermarket, and we would help with that, which I'm very proud of. That was something that we started way back when we were planning these things, when COVID was just a threat on the shores. But now things are reopen. The students are finishing their quarantines if they've come in, or the people who stayed, and there was many who stayed throughout the whole period. And they're going out a lot, as you can imagine.
Right.
Whether it be going into the university library to study. The university's reopened recently. or meeting up with friends, or the people that they've been interacting with on Zoom for the last 6 months. They're finally able to meet up in a social setting and really get to know each other. And that's fantastic to see. We see it in our common rooms. We see it in our reception areas. You know, we've got 7 buildings in London. They're all very different, but they've all got this community vibe that's growing again, like we're used to seeing. And it's wonderful to see. I've really missed it. Really,
just around the corner, you know, I guess you'll be seeing all of us and most of the students soon. Sorry, I'm interrupting. You know, I guess, you know, let me make this discussion a bit serious and bit more academics in nature, right? And, you know, when we talk about academics and policies, you know, who can be better than Dr. Debanjan? So Dr. Debanjan, you know, we all read about, you know, the recent UK-India tie-up, and with all the post-study visa, with graduate scheme coming in, you know, like what, you know, you want to throw some more lights on this, you know?
Thanks. Thanks, Saurabh. I think one of the biggest things that have happened very recently is that India and UK government have published a 10-year roadmap for UK-India relationship, and education sits right at the heart of it. Education and research, partnership and collaboration, and students and mobility of young people between the two countries is actually section 1 of that 10-year roadmap. We hope that by the end of this year, we will have a formal agreement on mutual recognition of qualifications and degrees between the two countries. I think so that's right at the top of the policy level. A rung below that, and in terms of slightly more tactical and practical stuff under the policy, is that, as you may already know, and there are representatives from the universities here who know the detail a bit better, but let me just quickly outline at that level. You know, UK government has relaxed timelines for students who are trying to reach the UK physically for GIR purposes to the 21st of June. So that is in place. This will continue to drive, I think, 2 of the biggest aspirations that Indian students have about both, you know, accessing high quality education, but also the work experience after you know, arriving in the UK. I know there are some questions which are very specific to particular subjects, particular domains. I think it's best that you put these questions to domain experts rather than, you know, generalists here. I think a number of policies are there at a pastoral level. John mentioned some of them. The universities will be able to talk a little bit more in detail about what steps and measures they are taking to take care of students arriving in the UK. I'm aware of a number of other organizations such as NISAO, who are taking care of Indian students arriving in the UK. I think there was a question on vaccinations. I think NHS is accessible to all international students, including students from India. I think payable basis on a surcharge that's payable on arrival. And again, I think most students arriving are aware of the technicalities around it. And you do qualify, if you haven't been already vaccinated, to be vaccinated in the UK when your turn comes. So I think there are no barriers per se towards arriving in the UK. There are, of course, travel restrictions now that apply, but there are also, as John has already mentioned, there's a 2-week quarantine that one has to go through. But again, I'm aware that organizations such as University Living and the universities themselves are providing a lot of care and support for those who are arriving in the UK.
Right. So that, you know, thank you. You know, I'm just taking a cue out of it. In fact, I thought we'll talk about employability, and we talk about, you know, I'll get Sarans to talk about, you know, how employment, you know, how job ready you become once you study in London-based, UK-based universities. But as Dr. Debanjan, you mentioned about vaccination, and you mentioned about red list, travel bans, right? And I believe there are some myth busting we need to do here. And me and Gariema were discussing, a couple of days back. So Gariema, you want to add? I want to share that myth about travel bans, and then probably Jaspreet and Shivani can add to it.
Yeah, of course. So there are a lot of questions I'm sure we all are encountering these days about travel ban. I don't know why they're calling it travel ban, because the student can freely travel. So
Exactly. I don't
just
know why
we have to
we're talking this. There are restrictions, I think.
restrictions.
Not a
Yeah,
ban.
exactly. But a lot of students will come and ask us about travel ban, and are we allowed, ma'am? Can we travel, or is it like that? So of course, the UK government has never shut the borders, so they always encourage the students and businesses to move despite of all the hardship. UK was one of the first few countries to establish the bubble travel so that the student can have the easy movement. So students were not really struggling. But yes, right now with the UK government categorizing various countries into various categories like red, amber, green, and India being in the green band. So with students going to study now and joining university, you would have to go for the institutional quarantine, which means that the students arriving in UK have to book their hotel quarantine for 10 days with an extra cost. There'll be two testing which will happen on day 2 and day 8 for the students, and based on the test results, the students can proceed to their respective institution. Till last year, the students were doing the home quarantine or the university accommodation. They were quarantining there, and we were availing all the facility. But as of now, because India is in the red list countries, the student have to go for the hotel quarantine. And but at the same time, we are hopeful because we have 4 or 5 months ahead of us. So it depends on the situation. If the situation improves in India, because the government is reviewing the conditions, the situations in both the countries at very regular basis. So we expect, and we are pretty hopeful that if the ban has been removed till the time the student have to actually join the campus, that's going to be really, really helpful. But as on today, we are in the red band, and the student have to go to the hotel quarantine, and that's the only thing. At the same time, if you talk about the vaccination, which a lot of students again asking us, so the vaccination, there's no requirement for students to get vaccinated before they fly to UK. But at the same time, you have to carry a negative test report before you fly to the country. At the same time, the students, after they enroll with their doctors, after reaching there, enrolling with the doctor, the GP, they'll be eligible to get vaccinated as an international student in UK. So that's one of the, a lot of benefit for the students who are not getting vaccinated here. So, and not many guidelines are there as of now, but we're hoping that UKVI and other institutions will roll out more details as soon as we, reach there. So,
Right.
yeah.
Thanks, Gariema. Jaspreet, on red list and vaccination.
It will be the same thing, Saurabh, because the policy is something that is there as of now. We don't know if that will really hold true in coming 3 or 4 months. There's still that much of time. And with the situation probably getting better here in India, things would change, may change drastically. And again, currently there are no government guidelines with regard to any vaccination process, whether students have taken Covishield or Covaxin or those kind of things. So, there is no guidelines as yet. So I think it should taken at the face value right now rather than dwelling and thinking too much about it.
Right. Yeah. Shivani.
Very quickly, I think, yeah, absolutely. Jaspreet and Garima have covered it beautifully, and I think yes, there's one good news I could share. There was a student of ours who was for January intake, but he reached the UK on the 5th of May. His quarantine finished just a couple of days back. Tomorrow is his vaccine slot. He's super excited and he's really looking forward to it. So over 18 has been opened up now in many parts. UK is obviously, he's slightly a mature student. I think he's 31 or 32, so he's got into that. But my own cousins are there who are one of them is a student at Manchester, and he said that it's going to open up. So there's no restriction, there's no sit, which one to take, which one not to take. But I would recommend, I mean, I was talking to a student this morning and he said, I'm getting a slot for Covishield, should I go for it? And I was like, go for it, what are you waiting for? I mean, you'll have time to get your second dose, and before you travel, so go for it. Second thing on the quarantine, I know sort of this is being recorded. If we can send this to number 10 Downing Street and echo the fact that we need to get India out of the red list, or I'm going to cancel all Indian food from the UK.
Shivani, I tried my level best, and I got one
Try
Indian. And we got one Indian in the parliament, and who is very close to 10 Downing Street. But we are still our way back. But we will be there. Yeah.
Also, I mean, I know a lot of questions will come. I think I just saw the news that, the travel ban as far as India goes has been now further extended to 30th June. Guys, this is not relating to you. Again, like what Garima said, bubbles are still on. Students, people on skilled work visas, people or British residents who are in India right now will be able to travel. So please, I mean, be rest assured of this. I myself have to get a tier 2 visa, have to travel to the UK, and I've got a reassurance from the UKVI that there's no limit or restriction on that. So as long as you're a tier 4, tier 2, or you have residency rights in the UK, even your dependents, they can travel under the travel bubble. What they're doing with the international restriction is more people like me who went to Dubai on holiday. Not a good idea. So that's what they're trying to restrict, not people who are going for a purpose.
Great. So I know, how. Yeah, Dr.
Shivani, I think that is quite key to the message. It really is not a ban. There is a restriction on non-essential travel, and the colored system of red, amber, green. It is a dynamic list that's being reviewed practically every week, and decisions are very data driven. It's not arbitrary. And we are from British Council. We are doing everything from the UK government, from British High Commission side. We are in constant touch with the authorities and trying to get this as favorable as possible for students and for businesses. So I think we are with all of you there.
Right. So I know how much Saransh also wants to. I mean, he I guess what the hardest thing for me is to moderate a panel who just loves to talk and so much to share and relevant information. So guys, pardon if I couldn't do justice to this, but I'm trying my level best. And yeah, Saransh, LSE alumni, in Mumbai, running an international business, that too in these tough times. What you learned from LSE, what you learned, or probably you experienced when you were in London, and how it helped you shape up in the individual you are right now.
So I'll tell you one thing that's important, and I feel a lot of Indian students don't really realize this when they're going, not just to the UK, to be fair, whether you're going to the US, Canada, Australia, any of the Western countries. One thing you'll realize is different is it's not simply the data that you are provided when you go for a master's. It's not simply what you learn, it's how you learn it. It's the critical thinking of how to present facts, how to read papers, how to better analyze those data. That is very different. In fact, it's one of the things that people struggle with the most. I personally, I was struggling in the first month or so. I was seeing other students struggling because what you have to do, it's not simply learning something new, it's unlearning what you learned. In the last section of the world, you will learn, okay, you have to learn this by rote, and this is what the teacher wants. The teacher XYZ, something on page, and that is what it should be. But in reality, that's not true. See, you are being asked a question, what do you think about it? It's perfectly fine to differ from the textbook. It's perfectly fine to say something that other people disagree with, as long as you've got the research to back it up. And I think this is something that people don't
Saransh, I'm really sorry. I need to interrupt here. I guess there's an internet issue at your end. You want to switch off your video and you want to continue? Please go ahead. Okay. I'm sure he will join back. Cool. As we established the fact that London is the is the place to these are one of the best universities out there in London. right?
Hi guys,
You,
sorry,
you
I'm
there?
at my factory. We've got things happening, so
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
little outside. That's why. But sorry, if am I clear? Am I audible?
yeah, much better.
Perfect, thanks. So yeah, what I was trying to say was I think students need to learn new things. So it isn't simply whether you learned XYZ in your master's. Say, for example, you did something like finance. That doesn't mean you can't go into banking, you can't go into something unrelated to public policy. You can, you absolutely can. It isn't simply, oh, I did this and now I can only stick to this field. Absolutely not. The point of going to university abroad, perhaps, is that you learn a different way of thinking, a critical thinking way. You change as a person, and that helps you throughout your life, your career. And it's very important to get that different perspective in how to understand, how to tackle challenges.
Right. Right. Great. Thanks, Arun. And hearing from someone, I mean, I'm seeing you. I've seen you progress in last 4 years. When you join, you approach us for accommodation, and now you're running a global business. Wow. Amazing journey. Congrats, buddy. So as it's I mean, London is the place to be. London universities are the university to study, right? And we have real proof of people who were. I mean, I'm sure Saransh will not agree. And when we connected with him 4 years back, he used not to be so extrovert and so confident, right? Of course, he was very bright at that point in time, but I mean, I guess the wings he got in London is altogether different. So, but we also know that London is expensive, right? So, and that's where we have bank, right? That's where we have HSBC to talk about how we can make the journey economical, or probably how HSBC bank will help students create value. So Anu, thank you for your patience. I mean, I am used to be a banker, and I know how unglamorous role of banker is, right? So this is your chance, Anu, to talk about HSBC, talk about how HSBC make the journey economically and more smooth for all the aspirant for London. Over to you, Anu.
Thank you, Saurabh. When we talk about the HSBC account opening for the students going to UK, we help these students for opening the account from the India itself. They don't have to land there, visit the branch, or in fact, in the orientation classes also, they don't have to visit the RM there and do the formalities. So HSBC will help opening the account. We just require the passport and the university acceptance letter from the university, and we process the account within 3-4 business days, and it's very quick, it's very fast. And in fact, students who are going for the undergrad and they are not much aware about the banking services in UK, we help those students opening the joint account with their parents too. uh, we give these students or their parents a good FX rates when they transfer funds into their university fees, or they're paying their rents there. Like, you have accommodation, university living, so if they want to transfer the funds, they can transfer the funds from India itself before they land there. So these type of facilities which HSBC is giving them, we have a 24 hours, support services for these international students and for their parents. And especially when it comes to the expensive tuition fees, we give them a in fact, very economical preferential rates for transferring the funds, to the university. So this is how HSBC helps. And I really want to, tell all the, audience here that just there are a lot many options present in UK, of course, but yes, opening the account from India before reaching there is what the beauty of this account is.
And I can't vouch it more. I mean, if you like going to bank and take a queue, and in UK you need to take an appointment, and then only you will get you will get to see your RM or people. And if you like to go to, I mean, if you really like Indian banking and you want to go and to bank and have that coffee, you can go and open your account there. But highly recommended that you should, the moment you know that you are going, you get your visa, or probably you have applied for, you got the offer, you should start talking about exploring about how you can make your journey more smooth, and HSBC bank will definitely help you in that. Great. So and just to add numbers, we have 594 branches in UK, of HSBC. So it's definitely
Thank you,
SBI.
sir. Yes, it is. Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Great.
Can I quickly add something here? And I
Please,
have to
Shivani.
thank HSBC. Anu, I'm a perfect example of what you said. So
Okay.
when I live, I'm from Delhi, and I used to live in Defense Colony before. Before I went to London to study, HSBC Southex was the nearest branch. For my
Yes.
dad, it was the easiest process in the world to transfer my tuition, to send me my pocket money, to send me my living expenses. And you know why I love HSBC even more? It's been
Uh-huh.
13 years. I graduated from Brunel. You guys haven't closed my HSBC Premier account in the UK. So I
Wow,
can't be
Shivani, I
that
require a testimonial from your side then, huh?
absolutely, hands down. And this is an advice I think I don't know, there were rumors, so maybe you could address that. I remember a
Mhm.
couple of years back, there was a rumor that you cannot do this anymore. You cannot
No,
open
no, no.
an account
Uh,
in India and,
So
yeah,
I'm cutting it down, guys.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah, really sorry. So as we talked about banking, and financial aid, I need to ask about scholarships. Any university, I mean, I heard about HSBC scholarship. Any university whose scholarship is still open, or I mean, I know Westminster scholarship is open till 14 June, and I understand that Queen's Mary scholarships are generally get filled really fast, and Brunel generally don't need to give a scholarship because the kind of student who who probably get attracted to Brunel is not because of only it's I mean all the three universities, right, and even all the 40 universities in UK, they have so much, they have their own attractiveness, and they have their own I mean, you can think 40 universities in a city and still they are all filled, and they are sought after. So any I know Dr. Debanjan, you were talking about some financial aid with British Council and UK government in a collaboration of Indian government was around. So you want to add something around that?
Hi, thank you, Saurabh, for that. I think we have been partnering with a number of UK universities on the great scholarships, so they are available. Look up the website. There are 40 odd universities who are part of the scheme, and that is happening. From British Council, we have just closed the applications for the STEM scholarships for women. So we have given out a large number of scholarships for women who are applying or have confirmed admissions in UK universities in STEM disciplines for one-year masters. And we have just launched 10 scholarships for creative economy and in the arts. So do look up our website on the creative economy scholarships. And these are just to name a few. The universities, of course, have their own scholarships and bursaries and ways of supporting students. And I look forward to hearing from my fellow panelists on what they are for each of the universities.
Yeah, I mean, it would be great to hear from all the universities around scholarship. Even Sharon, if you have any experience about scholarship, you did you apply to scholarship? What was your experience? So, just you want to add, and also this before that, I know that India generally is a late market. When I used to start study, and probably when we started university living, it was like people were only talking about accommodation or about these things once we'll get the visa, then we'll think about it, right? And as in fact, I'm taking this opportunity which I learned from Dr. Debanjan. 98% of Indian students get a visa. So I don't know why Indian students keep waiting for the last minute, right? So it's high time that you start not only looking at accommodation, but everything in a planned way. And with pandemic around, we have everyone at home. You have so much time to plan for yourself, right from your application to scholarships to banking accounts to accommodation. So right there, and of course university living team is there. And sorry guys, I'm planting university living of services. We don't do this for money, we do it for the passion about creating student experiences. So yeah, Jaspreet, sorry.
No problem, Saurabh. I think you've put the nail in the head part of it. So why we leave things at the last minute. So we do have scholarships, and 90% of them have already been allocated. So whatever is left now will be for the second round to be sent out. So we have, I mean, it is a very typical, I won't say just Indian, I think it's a very South Asian factor that we will, okay, once I have my results, I will apply. And once I have my offer, I will then look out for scholarships. And once I have my thing, then I will apply for scholarships. So you've already missed the bus by then. So you don't really kind of work with that. But unfortunately, I think that's how it is. And I've actually seen a change in the previous time. So previously, yes, this used to be, we used to have a very late market, you know, like June, July, August. It still is, but that used to be. But now I think people are little more planned, but not to that extent. They still apply early, but then they don't accept the offers on time. Ki result aayega to dekhenge times. And once they don't accept, obviously the university is, you know, sending out emailers, but they're not going to the right people because it's not going to people who have not accepted offers. You just can't issue 7,000 offers and send emailers to everybody till we know there's an interest coming from you on that. And the same thing for accommodation. So once I pay my deposit, once I have my visa, once I have this, then I will look at it. I think then you will not get your choice, right? So you're not a chooser. You are then just a taker. I don't want to use the other word.
No,
but
just we are they're not choosers. I mean, we have too much of money. You know, we don't mind paying extra.
Yeah, well, then, but still at that point, I'm sure, Saurabh, you know, we've had cases like that where I just still want £100 rooms possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from our end, we've unfortunately, we've kind of finished with the scholarships now.
Right. John, I just get back to you. I just hold your thoughts. Yeah. And I know when we are talking about accommodation, we can't miss you. Gariema.
Yeah, so I will take that opportunity to let the students know that we still have our scholarship open till 14th of June. I'm talking about the global scholarship, which we have it for students from other countries as well. So we have 70 plus scholarship of £2,000 exclusively for the postgrad students. So the ones who have their offer already, be it conditional or unconditional, please do apply and check on the website and send in your application. I totally agree with what Jaspreet said, that we hate to say that, but India unfortunately is a late market. So if you talk to my scholarship team, they always keep complaining that why do we receive so many applications from South Asia, so many, and that too at the last minute. So, you know, we have to face that when we sit in a meeting with the scholarship team and we have no answers. We really encourage them from day one. But like Jaspreet said, I really echo that because students have made their decision a little early this time, but they are still stuck with their final year results and all of that. So we understand that concerns, but you can apply for scholarship at the conditional offer stage. So please do. At the same time, there's going to be another category of scholarship for South Asian students exclusively. We will, reveal more details about it in next month. So students, please do reach out to our South Asia team, to our South Asia social media channels, and get more information.
Great. In fact, Dr. Debanjan, I was coming to you because there's a question that, you know, if you applied to a scholarship university or you got university scholarship, can you apply for British Council scholarship as well? So over to you, Dr. Debanjan.
I think you should check in detail with the university as well. You could email British Council about those technicalities. Usually once you're made a scholarship offer and if you accept the scholarship, the normal rule is that you cannot apply or you're not eligible for another scholarship. The other point I wanted to make about scholarship is that, you know, I also went to the UK on a scholarship. I went on a Felix scholarship. I've sat on Rhodes, Felix and INLAC's interview panels for years after I came back. Is please also connect with alumni from your, within your social networks, alumni from UK who have received scholarship, you know, friends, usually seniors from university network, and talk to them about how scholarships work. And there is a way in which this work, especially for postgraduate and research students, and there is an element of networking and prior preparation required, and it is a long-term game. Please do not leave it to the last minute. it usually, a scholarship preparation and conversation should start a year, maybe even earlier in advance, especially for research students.
Right. Great. Thanks. So, so what I gathered from all the universities reps, we are a late market, but, fortunately due to COVID, and, we have a impacted 2 years, last year as well as this year. So people who are thinking of going next year, probably in January, they can still apply. You can still, try your luck, right? You have amazing universities you can apply to. Uh, Students who, probably just being lazy around, thinking that, okay, let's attend this webinar, understand, London is amazing, but we'll see, we still have a chance, right? So whether it's Brunel, whether it's Queen's Mary, Westminster, LSE, or out of those 40 universities, in fact, so traditionally, most of the students apply now, because, in May you get your school or your university results. So guys, it's still not too late, but don't wait till July, August, then it will be definitely late, right? Yeah, John, you have a thoughts around
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Saurabh. I just wanted to bounce in the back of something Jaspreet said, and that's with booking accommodation. Booking late is a really bad idea because you won't get what you want. At Urban Nest, we're really proud to offer a book with confidence guarantee. And given the current market and the situation in the UK and globally, we're very proud of this confidence guarantee because you can book a room now, and if you, any student, if they prove that they cannot make it to the UK, then we will of course cancel and refund the accommodation. So there's no risk in it. The full information is available on the website, and a representative from University Living or Urban Nest would be happy to help with that. But yeah, regardless, if you're not booking with Urban Nest, if you're booking anywhere, do it now, do it soon, because the good rooms, the best rooms, the ones with the views that your Instagram will light up with, you need to get them now.
And this is the beauty about, all the stakeholders in the ecosystem, right? We are not here to promote Urban Nest or Queen's Mary. We are here to talk about London and UK in general, right? And this is the DNA of the ecosystem, right? I mean, you just can't tell anyone to talk this way. This is natural flow, right? Thank John for, for watching out for the industry. And so, I mean, also, I would love to take this question to all the panel. We have, I mean, this is 1.5 hour event, right? And we only have 22 minutes left, and I have so many questions to ask, and then there are so many questions which is audience have already asked, right? So all the audience who've been asking your question, we'll try level best to answer it, but in case we miss it, don't worry, we will definitely answer it. We will definitely email each and every question, right? So guys, all the panelists, right, can I take this liberty to extend this webinar from 5:30 to probably 6:45, provided we have relevant questions and the flow is right? Otherwise, I try to up my game and try to hard stop at 5:30. I mean, it's fine, I mean, I know how you guys are busy, right? And I don't want to close it abruptly, right? In fact, I know Jaspreet, Shivani, Gariema, Dr. Debanjan is super busy. I mean, I can't. Thanks,
Dr.
Debanjan.
On, but I do have another call booked from 5:45, and I need a little bit of time in between to just shift gears.
So am I taking that consensus for all? Because I know Jaspreet was watching her clock, and Shivani, I know Shivani already got an appointment, so I'll try to stick with 5:30. Great. And Saransh, you and me can talk if you have time, because we know how much we can talk on clubs, societies, our love for clubs, societies. I still remember all the discussion we had earlier. So, coming back to, we know that, COVID will be around, right? I mean, this is not that everything will not be hunky-dory, and we have realized that we need to move with this COVID around, right? So what kind of measures, universities has put in, what kind of measures accommodation put in. So I'll open with universities, and then I'll get back to I'll go to John, and then we'll talk about HSBC initiatives, about all kind of measures they have put in their bank branches. Shivani, you want to start with?
Sure, sort of. Thanks. I think measures will be very fairly similar. So I mean, I'm taking the freedom. I think you could just cover that with one person. So I can probably speak on behalf of Jaspreet and Gariema, because it's not going to be really different. So I think all of us have designated our labs and our classrooms in such a way that social distancing is maintained. So which typically means that if one student is sitting, there's a gap of 2 chairs before the other one could really sit in there. All university facilities have very clearly given arrow marking systems. So which means if there's a one-way system into a building, you'll very easily be able to see that and kind of walk through that. Obviously, there are certain areas in each universities where you have to wear masks unless and until you have a medical condition, and in certain areas where you could skip wearing a mask if you feel the need that you don't need to. Obviously, in your private rooms of accommodation, wherever you are, you don't need to wear a mask. If in your flat, depending on how your flatmates feel, you could or you couldn't wear the mask. I think also universities, I think this is again, I speak on behalf of Queen Mary and Westminster, I think, and Brunel. We are all vaccinated, so we're all testing sites. So our students and our staff can do asymptomatic tests twice a week, completely free of charge on campus. If they don't want to do that, you can book in a free test through NHS and walk into an NHS designated center at any point in the day or hour whenever they're open. Some universities, I'm not sure about Westminster, but I was hearing rumors about Queen Mary and Brunel. We are probably going to also be vaccination hubs for our university students on campus where we have space available. So these are the three, I think, large things: social distancing, a one-way system, vaccines, testing, and you're safe. I mean, you're as safe as you can be. And obviously, I think each accommodation provider would also have that designated facility available for someone to get that support if they require it. So I don't know, girls, if I've missed anything, of course, please add in. But I think largely that's what I've been hearing from the sector, and that's what it's been. We want to give the students as normal as life as they can on campus. But having said that, we want to have their safety and security at utmost importance. A lot of students, Brunel's also opened up since 17th of May, and I know some courses they're fully being taught on campus, also online. And some students actually who are in London, they're like, no, we're not going to campus yet. We want to get our vaccination first and then go. So I think we've become very socially responsible rather than just the other way around. That desperation of being on campus has gone. I think they're very sensible now.
Right. So, as we cover universities, and apart from people spending time in universities, most of the time they're spending their accommodation. So, John, what kind of measures you've been taking, and what student can expect in urbanest and across accommodation? Most of the PBS around.
Sure thing. Yeah, it's a really good point. So at Urbanest, we reacted quickly last year as we saw it coming in. I think I mentioned earlier, I won't go on about that too much. But the threat of the virus became a reality very quickly. So we were well prepared in advance. And I think a lot of companies have been the same. We needed to react well. The whole sector was very visible internationally. So we all needed to react the same, react well. So an example might be, we do enhanced cleaning with virucidal compounds in common areas, enhanced staff training for all members of staff, and we actually increased the number of staff. We didn't reduce because we knew that there was a welfare need. It's the same as the universities: one-way signing, operational signage such as wash your hands, wear a mask, maintain social distancing. But I think where we really excelled, I mentioned it earlier, was with our quarantine assistance with students who were in isolation with food deliveries, parcels, and welfare support. And I think moreover, and I think all university partners or everybody around this table virtually and everybody in the sector should be doing this, and I think they do, is maintain a really close relationship with the universities. It's key. Saurabh, you said yourself, we're part of the same DNA and the same ecosystem. communication is key. And as long as we, as a university accommodation partner, liaise regularly with our university partners, which we do, we'll be in a good place.
Yes, absolutely. Can't watch it more. In fact, for urbanist and if you talk about university living as a platform, right? We are a very, very managed marketplace, and it's a very unbiased platform. We work with urbanists, we work with chapters, we work with Unite, we work with Scape, we work with IQ, right? And the reason, because we're a marketplace, we need to ensure that it's not that one option we put up front, right? If someone is looking for in zone 3 they have a budget of 175, we can cover it. If someone is looking a parliament overlooking penthouse, we have covered that as well, right?
Yeah.
So, and talking about accommodation and talking about few experiences we had last year, right? And and I tell everyone that we've been Indian offices, or we've been official representative of all these accommodation partners, right? um, we are here to create enhanced student experience, right? And if you're undergrad students, you are getting your first you should apply to university hall. I tell everyone, right? Even in the late market, even most of the uni halls get over by, or probably the deadline gets over by 31st May, right? And if we compete with Chinese and European countries, we are always at back end. So we need to start early. Firstly, we need to apply to university hall and also have an alternative option, right? Then don't wait till the visa. You will get your visa. I mean, unless until you in that 2% of a bit unfortunate people, even you can reapply, because at time, just because your application you don't get it, right? And again, if you apply early, you have an option to reapply your visa. If you wait till the end, even that option out. So apply early, look out for your accommodation early, and you get better offers, you get your higher rooms and corner rooms. Probably you will not end up paying 350, 400, 500. You can get a studio in London in between 350, 400, 450 pounds now, right? If you're looking for ensuite, you can be covered 200, 250 pounds, with all bills inclusive, right? So again, the idea of this platform is to to infuse the confidence among Indian students. I know so many. In fact, if I go by data, right, I was reading that around 57,000 students enrolled last year, and it was COVID, right? I mean, sorry, I'm not very sure about this data because I've read it, and that's why I was apprehensive about sharing it. But if you see the sentiment, if you see the quantum, right, euphoria is there. Sentiment is very, very robust. And we have universities, we have Dr. Debanjan, we know the enrollment data. We know how many people are sitting on the fence and they are just applying visas. They are because of post-study visa, they are traveling to UK. They are you can take so many of students are taking their dependent and going there to settle down, right? So guys, we have 4 months. Utilize these 4 months really nicely. Don't wait till the end, right? So we have so many questions, which most of the students have asked. So I'll try to direct a relevant question to each of you, right? And really request if you can share your thoughts and whatever information you have up your sleeves. So I'm taking one of the option, how the job market post completion of MBA will be in UK and especially in London. So anyone of you want to take it, or I take a I mean, I can pass it to anyone. Yeah, Sarang.
The job market will be fairly good, especially for Indian students and Asian students post Brexit. When I say fairly good, that means it isn't something that's handed to you. No matter which university you're going, there aren't going to be job placements that companies will come and please join us. It will be more like you're going to have to network, you're going to have to apply, go to assessment centers. It's good, but you have to put in the effort. It's not going to be handed to you.
Saransh, your internet is not supporting you today. You need to call me and we can have a long discussion.
Hi. Is this better?
Much better. I mean, you want to switch off your video? Please feel free.
Yeah. I said Yeah, it comes and goes. I think just as a final thing, it's good, but you need to do the work. The job market is good, but it won't be handed over to you. You will have to put in the effort and the work.
Right. Dr. Debanjan, you want to add to this because you have seen so many of your students getting placed in a really reputed companies and roles.
I agree completely with what Saran said. I think the GIR route I mentioned earlier in my remarks, that continues to remain open up to 2 to 3 years, depending on what kind of course you're doing. However, it's very important for individuals to look out for the opportunities. It will never come on a platter for you. And let's be realistic, all over the world, I think there is a challenge around the pandemic and the economy is shrinking. But the good side of all of that, and this is something that I think all the panelists have touched upon, Indian students do very, very well in the UK education system once they adjust, make that adjustment, which again, I think Saransh, you mentioned, Shivani, you also mentioned that, it's the way you learn is different. And therefore, and premised on that, the workplace demands in the UK are also a little bit different from what we are used to seeing here. You are expected to be a lot more autonomous employee, and you will be expected to take a lot more responsibility yourself, rather being told by either your supervisor or your boss at work what to do on a daily basis. So be aware of those cultural differences that exist.
Great. Thanks, Dr. Debanjan. So one of the question been asked about. Uh, just give me a minute. Yeah. So there's a question by a student that what if my course is pretty newly introduced in my targeted university? What will be the job prospect after completing the degree? And I just add another question to it so that we can save time. What are the possibilities to get internship and graduate program just after 1 year master program in supply chain management? I mean, supply chain management can be very specific. We can talk about general here, and whosoever asked this question, we will revert over the email. Yeah, anyone wants to take this, or I'll pick? Yeah, just speak.
Okay, so I'll just answer. I mean, I cannot be very specific about the streams or just the supply chain, but generally, whenever a new course is introduced in any university, it is not just introduced like in one week or one day. It takes months and years for that to happen. There is a very, very long, rigorous process that needs to be followed. It has to be approved. If it's a technical program, there is a board that needs to approve it. And then the senior board or the advisory board, the education board approves it. And then only it is actually given 2-level approval. So first level is when it is advertised, and the second level is when we can actually make offers, when all the approvals are done. So any program that you go in for, and the universities also propose these programs if they have faculty or research centers or research work in that zone. It's not just going to be coming out of the blue just because I like a passion for it. So it is rest assured that any new program that the universities is sending, there has been a lot more research that has been done or is being done on that when it was worked around with. And with regard to the job opportunities, I think very rightly Dr. Debanjan and Saransh has already covered. It's definitely not going to be a cakewalk for anything or anyone. It is tough times, for every sector, section of the world. So you have to put in your efforts, and I think I just want to highlight what we were speaking a little earlier, that we're a late market, just to highlight that fact that we kind of get laid back. Okay, I'm joining in September. Next September, I will see what do I do. Whereas that doesn't work. If you're looking for career opportunities, that's during your study period. So you need to start working it while you are there in the university. The universities are there to support you. They are not going to be there to give you on a platter thing to say, hello, the companies are coming, please come and network with them. No, they are going to give you these opportunities. You have to take those opportunities. And yes, it's a tough call because it's a 1-year program. You're doing rigorous studies and also trying to get into an environment of a new setup and new country. but this is important for your life. So that 1 year of efforts have to be put in. And believe me, so it is not the right thing to say that everything is closed. Yes, there is a little more hard work that needs to go in for that.
Right. We need to be more proactive.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm sure I can definitely vouch, not just from London, for any university. We kind of start working with, the career office starts working with the students as early as they join. Only if the student take the support. They are
Absolutely.
not only going to give you afterwards, but they are there for you from the very beginning. So
Right.
we are organizing events, seminars and other things for you to know what the world is all about, or how do you write your CV. But if you leave it to the last minute, yeah, we
Absolutely.
do Naukri.coms and all that, but there are timelines for everything in the UK. And unfortunately, deadlines have to be met. If I say 12, I have to be at 12. If you send me at 12:01 on my computer, I can reject your application. I have full right to do that.
I mean, if someone like me can be more time horizon, I'm sure many can be better. Gariema, you got a point here, I believe.
Yeah, I think I just wanted to add there, Jaspreet rightly highlighted that you have to be really proactive. At the same time, especially when you're choosing a London university, you're going to be in the business hub. So take that opportunity right from day one. You know, your careers teams are going to be, like rightly highlighted by Jaspreet, going to be helping you from day one. So why don't you be proactive and start looking for the right kind of part-time jobs? You're going to get paid well in London. You're going to meet up your expenses through that, and also going to get a really good work experience, which eventually helps you with your graduate role. So proactiveness is the key. And I understand that as students, we get a little carried away with the city, and that is overwhelming for everyone. We totally get it. But wrap yourself as early as possible, and classes and academics and following every schedule is very, very important. That's all.
Right. So I got a chance to promote another offering of university living. So right. In fact, what we realized, it's not a offer, services, but we realized that there are lots of students who are going to London or going to UK, right? And they are in that journey, wherein we help these students get a corporate job feeler right away, by just sharing your experiences, right? By sharing how did you apply, what was the experience, right? So it's like a UL ultimate student ambassador program, which people can check on our website, or probably anyone who's interested can reach out to careers@universityliving.com. And not taking more time, Saransh, there's a question on risk and finance, and who else can answer it better than you? So the question is, what are the prospect of someone who have done masters in risk and financial field from UK?
What are the prospects in general? Very good. London is known as the insurance hub of the world. All kinds of insurance happens through London, and I know you may not think as insurance as where you want to go, but actually insurance can be really fun for risk and finance people, because you will have me personally, I have to airlift cylinders, whether I'm airlifting them from Austria to India. I have to get my finance done from Lloyd's in London. Everybody does their financing in London. From Jennifer Lopez's butt, even that is is insured in London. Everything is insured in London. So you have to assess what kind of risk there is. You have to assess what kind of earning potential does JLO get from her butt, and if that is high enough, you put a number on it, and you insure it.
Right.
So as far as risk goes in London, great. I think it's a good
And
option.
just to take a cue from there, so there is a question which mentioned that whether a student who comes along to UK is helped with guarantee certificate during his selection of an accommodation. John, I guess that's a tailor-made question for you. So if someone book accommodation now, are they guaranteed that they will I didn't get the question clearly, but just to cover it up, let's say they book their accommodation now, they got the university offer, right? They book accommodation through university living, one of the accommodation of urbanest. How how strong their profile will be to get a visa or to get a guaranteed certificate, if I got this right?
Sure thing. I think I understand it. So if a student is applying to come to the UK, they should get their accommodation sorted soon to help with their visa. I think that's the question. And with all accommodation providers, you will get a certificate, a tenancy agreement. This isn't just something that urbanest do or something that the universities do. This is a legal requirement in the UK. When you book a flat or accommodation, you will get an assured short hold tenancy agreement, which you can use to help with your application for a visa.
Okay, great, thanks. And just to just a follow-up question: can Urbanist support food delivery during quarantine period? Because there are so many students who already booked Urbanist accommodation and other PBSAs, right? So, do you guys support food delivery during quarantine?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. There's a Deliveroo van and a Just Eat van and an Uber Eats van outside every one of our properties at any time of the day. And we've got special staff to deliver food, and Amazon parcels by the, I believe maybe millions, hundreds of millions every day. So yeah, absolutely.
Great. So, I just realized that we have, a super duper intelligent person from HSBC. And, so, apart from all the perks and all the benefits which you mentioned about HSBC Bank, right? Any parting, statement, comment, feedback you need to give to students, and then I take it to all the panelists and we close this.
I think, Saurabh, what I want to say about HSBC UK is that before, when the pandemic started last year in the month of March, uh, any student who is traveling to UK, they need to visit branch, take the appointment, and get the account activated, collect their debit card and pin, extra. But after this pandemic, HSBC has started with this account opening and from India itself. Suppose if I take the example of university living, if somebody is booking the accommodation from India itself, they'll have the UK address. So client can give that UK address to us and we can deliver the debit card and pin at that place, once they land there. So they don't have to visit a branch at all. So they can take all the precautions, they can avoid the queue in the branches or the appointment. So this is what HSBC has introduced for, in fact, not only for UK, for all the countries where students go. So I think students should take advantage of this, and they should start doing their banking, fully activated banking, in fact, from India itself.
Great, thank you. And I take it to rest of the panel, and it's a request. Let's try to close in a 1 minute in a statement. Otherwise, I need to have my reputation right. Sharans, 1 minute, 30 seconds for you.
Okay, quickly, guys, best of luck. I think you'll be fine. Just don't rely on anybody else. Rely on yourself. And if you think you will go there and somebody else will do something for you, don't. You do it. You got to do it. You got to do whatever you need to get there. Don't rely on anybody.
And whatever you can't do, University Living is there. Jaspreet.
Sorry, I was just trying to make that part. Well, I just echo Saransh onto it. Yes, it is your time. It is your thing. I know there are a lot of uncertainties around the world right now, but that is for everyone. And I'm sure we will overcome these things as well. So just stay safe, think positive, and just take the leap. It should be all right.
Thank you, Jaspreet. Dr. Debanjan.
Hello. I think in one sentence, have fun but responsibly. There's one other organization I would like students from India to tap into. Check out their website. It's called UKCISA, UK Council for International Student Affairs. They provide a lot of very sound guidance on various matters related to international students. And they are incredibly helpful once you arrive, on top of the great work that the universities and University Living and Urbanest do.
Thank you so much. Shivani.
Have fun, stay safe, get vaccinated, stay happy. There's a great world out there for all of us to be successful, to be super rich soon. and beat this COVID very fast. So just stay strong and stay positive.
Gariema.
Yeah, I think it is a crucial stage for the ones who are watching this, and we totally understand this circumstance for you. But don't worry, this too shall pass. Stay strong, stay safe, and we as universities are doing every way possible to help you out settle down. So enjoy your ride.
Great. Last but not the least, John, who is in UK. John, we discussed that, probably if we get a time, we have a quick viewing or a show of the room. He's sitting in the Tower Bridge rear room.
I am indeed. I'm in one of our studio apartments right now, on location. But very quickly, I would just echo everything that everybody else has said. But I do want to say something I said at the beginning. London right now is popping. It's the atmosphere is vibrant. Everybody is jubilant because the vaccination program has been so successful. It feels like the Olympic summer back in 2012, which was a party town. Everybody was out in the streets having a wonderful time. It feels like that. And the second thing is, when it comes to booking your accommodation, make sure that you speak with the guys at University Living to get you the best option for you. Here at Urban Nest, we're happy to be a great partner of University Living, and of our own 7 buildings, one that's coming online this year. We would really, really welcome you to live with us.
John, you gave me the opportunity to ask for offer. We Indian love offers and discounts.
Sure thing.
Please.
So if you book with University Living over the next month, we would offer a free airport collection from Heathrow or Gatwick. So when you land on your British Airways into Terminal 3, there will be someone waiting for you to whisk you over to Urban Nest, where your HSBC bank card will be waiting for you, and you'll be ready to go for your studies.
John, trust me, and all the audience, we have not planted, we have not got into the tea. John mentioned about British Airways. Anyone who want 10% flat, discount for British Airways to London or to UK, you can reach out to the University Living team, and you will get the best price right from direct. And again,
John would personally throw rose petals on the bed.
Son, that's too much again. That's why you were thrown out of the building. Just kidding. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. Thanks each of you. Thanks for your time. Thanks each one who's joining out there in the audience. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. This was so much fun. Once again, thank you.
Dr. Thank you, guys.
Thanks. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Anu.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, John. Bye, guys.